Welcome back, Deadites and Ghost Beaters, and if you're new to the channel, I am Oldhead Gaming. Of course, if you want to stay up to date on all the latest horror ASIM information, make sure you click the subscribe button, turn on the notification bell for all horror ASIM related videos. And of course, today we're talking about the developer note. Now, the developer note is going to be kind of a foreshadowing of what is going to be the actual patch notes for the PTB that'll be dropping at 11 a.m. tomorrow. And even in a weirder thing, they're going to be doing a walkthrough at 10 a.m. in their Discord, which I think's pretty interesting and weird all at the same time. But of course, one of the things I think everyone's going to be excited about with this mid-chapter update, since there is no content per se coming, is going to be the rework of the Skull Merchant. Now, I know that all the Freddy mains and Twin mains are thinking, why did she get pushed to the front? Well, probably because she is the biggest plague that has been brought upon Dead by Daylight since she dropped, making games an extensively bad time for everyone involved, except maybe the chess merchant who really enjoys it. But let's take a look at the actual notes and see what they're changing. And here we go. The spooky season is officially underway, and we're getting into the spirit with a hefty developer update coming up with everything coming in the game the next month. We have to share about features, killer updates, and perk map changes. Now, of course, the big thing, other than maybe Skull Merchant, is the anti-face camping mechanic coming to the game. And going forward, you'll notice a new meter appears whenever you are on the hook. This meter will gradually fill whenever the killer is near you. The closer the killer gets, the faster the meter builds. And once it is full, you'll gain the ability to unhook yourself with a 100% success chance, even during the second hook phase. Unhooking yourself this way will grant you all the usual benefits such as endurance and haste. To ensure that this cannot be abused by aggressive survivors, the rate at which the meter will decrease or potentially even stop when other survivors are nearby. Additionally, once the exit gates are powered, this feature will disable entirely. This is because at that point the killer must do whatever they can to secure that last hook, so we can't expect them to graciously leave the hook. This new mechanic is intended to address the most egregious camping scenarios, discouraging killers from standing too close to hook survivors for an extended period of time, creating opportunities for other survivors to make the save. Now, they did say tomorrow in that special time pre-PTB launch, we're going to hear something specific about Bubba because of his ability to chainsaw through haste and then hit him again. So I know there's something special they got for him, but everyone else probably are playing on the same playing field as what you're seeing right here. And here, of course, is the chess merchant playing her chess games. It's been a while since the sound of drones first filled the entity's realm, and since then the Skull Merchant's eye in the sky were largely have been eyes on the generator, leading to some very long matches. In this update, we're overhauling the Skull Merchant's drones to reduce their effectiveness in defending generators while improving their strength in chase. So lock-on is going to get reworked. This was for power. And it's called active zones, being the main culprit behind the Skull Merchant's ability to defend generators are no more. On top of that, making survivors exposed, these zones provided the Skull Merchant with way too much information on the survivors within them, allowing the killer to quickly react and chase them away. With the active zones removed, the Skull Merchant's drones need a new way to lock on to survivors. Now, whenever the survivor is scanned by a drone's beam, they receive a stack of lock on. Upon reaching 3 stacks, the survivor will immediately receive the claw trap. However, avoiding drone scanners won't be as easy as the introduction of the 2 new modes that I'm going to talk about now. The first new mode is called Stealth Mode. The drone spinning beams will be invisible, and the drone will be much quieter. Survivors will want to watch closely for the lights on the drone itself to tell where the beams are so they can sneak up and disable it. And the second is called Scouting Mode. The drone scan line will be visible and rotate much faster, making them more difficult to approach or run by. In either mode, the drone scan lines will not detect a survivor who is stationary, effectively preventing them from being used to guard generators. A survivor can interact with the drone in either state to disable it for 45 seconds, after which it will return to stealth mode. Claw traps. Survivors who end up with a claw trap will find themselves receiving of the following effects. If they are healthy, they will instantly be injured. If they are injured, they will receive deep wounds. This will not grant survivor a speed boost. The survivor suffers from broken status until the trap is removed, and their location will be revealed in the killer's scanner for a short period. Additionally, survivors with claw trap who are scanned by one of the killer's drones will receive a 10% movement penalty which lasts for 6 seconds, and are revealed to the killer with Killer Instinct on the location for 3 seconds. The Claw Trap's battery will expire and the trap will be removed automatically after 45 seconds. We have also made adjustments across many aspects of the Skull Merchant to improve the way it feels playing as or against her. And the first thing they changed is she now has 6 drones instead of 4. And will now immediately become undetectable for 8 seconds after deploying a drone. The minimum distance between drones is now 16 meters. It was 22. And the killer's movement speed is no longer decreased by checking the scanner. So when you looked at it, you had a 3 millisecond drop. It's no longer going to affect it. Lock on progress no longer decays, and drones can no longer be manually reactivated. Drones can now be placed above or below drones deployed on different floors. Failing to hack a drone will now grant 1 stack of lock on instead of instantly locking on. And Skull Merchant's footsteps are now quieter, making her harder to track behind walls. We have updated the Skull Merchant's chase music because no one ever heard it before because she never chased anyone, so they needed to give her a new music for that. And we have reviewed the Skull Merchant's add-ons, adjusting some and giving others new effects. Combined with these changes, the Skull Merchant's drones are more chase-oriented direction, giving them more immediate consequences when they are triggered rather than slowly building up over time. And at the same time, her ability to defend generators for excessive lengths of time has also been reduced substantially. We will be keeping close eyes on these changes during the PTB and making further adjustments as needed. Now, we could see some other tweaks, minor or major, after the PTB is actually done. They can review that data. And we saw kind of like similar things like when they were doing some adjustments to Pyramid Head on the last PTB, and they're like, oh, we can't roll that out. That shit is way too broken. So you're going to see those pros and cons with stuff being tested on the PTB, but I feel like most people are going to feel that the Skull Merchant work through is a much better chase because she was. Thanks, Jean-Ralphio. The next, they did some adjustment to maps. The first one was Shattered Square, and the biggest problem they were showing were low obstacles, and that is something like that was kind of annoying. Like you could just basically get stuck by a low box you couldn't even see. So what they're going to do is making stuff taller, so that way it doesn't actually affect you. Size and layout actually got adjusted as well. Shattered Square is among the largest maps in the game, and contrary to its name, is actually a rectangle. The size of the map can make patrolling a little difficult. To help with these, we have reduced the size of the map, turning it into a proper square in the process, and positions of some of the tiles have been readjusted as a result. Line of sight was also a major problem because most of the obstacles in the map tend to be fairly low, which we were talking about, even just like little things, but even the obstacles are, and it made it quite easy for killers to spot survivors at long ranges and difficulty for stealther killers to sneak up on survivors because they, of course, just see them as well. And to break up these long line of sights, we have rearranged some of the tiles to limit how far you can see from any given point. Navigation, last but not least, we have made changes to various parts of the map to make it easier to navigate, including making it clear which objects can be walked on and which just block your path. McMillan Estate got some rework too. Our work on maps doesn't stop there. Entire McMillan Estate realm is being expanded. Each map in the realm has received a second alternate version. What does this mean? Next time you load in a suffocation pit, for example, there might be a little bit different. The trademark mineshaft will still be there, but it may be a different spot. The shape and layout might also be slightly different. The goal with these variants is to add more variety to existing maps without changing the unique properties that set them apart, such as their size or bottlenecks, choke points that separate them from either side of the map, and so on. All right, so basically they're expanding McMillan, they're reworking the Borgo to make it a little bit taller. I mean, all right, I'm down with it. And we got 2 perks being reworked. The first one is Furtive Chase, which does anyone use Furtive Chase? Furtive Chase is one of the lesser used killer perks, providing a way to switch obsessions throughout the match and reduce your terror radius. To give a perk a slight boost, we're increasing the terror radius reduction for each token to 5 meters. It was 4 for a maximum of 20 meters. Also, Background Player, which is a really fun perk to use if you try to make like flashlight saves or you're trying to make toolbox saves. This perk allows you to sprint very quickly when the killer picks up a survivor, creating an opportunity to get into position for the save. Not only is this perk highly situational, but it does leave you exhausted, which could hinder you if you're chased shortly after. To make sure the perk is meaningful when activates, we increase the duration of the boost from 4 seconds, which it was, to 5 seconds now. We have some killer tweaks to go along with that. The first thing we're going to see is Trapper is going to get a slight boost. Now, they still want Trapper to be easy sauce since he is basically the face of the game by the fact he is on the cover of the game. And of course, they want him easy to be used for initial players just starting out. So all they're really doing for Trapper is they're increasing him to having 8 traps spawn on the map instead of 6. And now he gets a 7.5% haste effect after setting a bear trap, which I really do like. We expect these changes to have minimal impact on lower skill matches. The Trapper is already performing well there, but in higher end players who know how to take advantage of them, additional bear traps will help ensure the adequate supply, particularly on a larger map, and the added haste effect could close the gap of survivors, catch on, and begin running away when you're setting them. They also worked Huntress and Trickster, and basically because they had the same problem, they need to get projectiles. Doing so gives survivors a big head start to run away and gain some distance. For this reason, many Huntress and Trickster players run add-ons or perks like Iron Maiden to reduce their load time. To improve the quality of life and reduce the resilience on these perks and add-ons, we have reduced the reload time for killers to 3 seconds. It was 1 second. So you're taking a full second off your reload time to get blades or hatchets. I actually think that's a pretty good change. And speaking of reloads, Deathslinger will also find himself reloading very frequently, but he only gets one shot, and if you miss, you're taking a 2.8 seconds, I think, to reload. And because of this, add-ons which reduce the load time see a lot of use. To make these add-ons less essential, we have taken away the effect of Warden's Key add-on and incorporated it into base kit and adjusted the add-on accordingly. Deathslinger now reloads at 2.6 seconds. It was 2.75. So yeah, it was 2.75 like I thought it was. Secondly, we have increased the movement speed bonuses while aiming down sights for both the add-ons Jaw Smasher and Wanted Poster. Jaw Smasher was 1%, it's now 1.5. Wanted Poster was 2.5, it's now 3%, and make them more interesting choices to consider. And Legion. Lastly, we adjusted Legion's BFF add-ons. This add-on granted 4% movement speed increase when the gates were powered, so long as the killer managed to hit enough Feral Frenzy strikes during the match. Since the effect needed to be earned and is only active during the very end of the match, we're increasing this movement speed bonus to 6% to make it more impactful. So we got a 2% increase to speed for Legion as long as you hit your Feral Frenzy hits. With that, we've reached the end of this month's developer update, and we'll see you tomorrow. Like I said, the PTB will be fully rolled out at 10 a.m. patch note-wise on the Discord. We'll probably get a tweet that leads right back to it anyway, but it'll give us exactly everything we're working on. But this gives us a pretty good idea of what's to come. Obviously, they were listening to the screams at the top of every survivor's lung and a lot of killers that there was just something horribly wrong with the Skull Merchant. She needed to be changed. I felt dirty even passing her on my killer checklist, let alone choosing her. So I can understand why they made her such a high priority, and I think it was actually a good thing. I like what they did on those killer buffs. I think the shortened reload time for all three, Deathslinger, Huntress, and Trickster, is a good thing. I don't mind the Legion buff. Legion's never been super strong. Annoying, but not super strong. And let's be honest, Trapper could always use a little love. We got Macmillan and the Borgo getting adjusted, and we're adding the anti-face camping mechanic, which I think is probably, other than maybe Skull Merchant, the most look forward thing on all survivors coming into this mid-chapter. Since there isn't going to be any pure content dropping, we have a licensed killer coming in chapter 30 in November, but this is going to drop probably like the first week of October-ish. We'll have the PTB go live probably tomorrow at 11 a.m. I want to hear your thoughts in the comments below. As always, thanks for watching, and later, mates.